Aces. Hey there, Heather. Hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to yet another Cutter live stream. And today, as promised, I will tell you about some of the stuff that I actually have picked up. You know how I said last stream, the last 30 minutes I dedicated towards picking up some sports loot, telling you how I had $100 and all that for stuff. And I showed you there's some stuff that were actually not unboxed, as in, like I showed you the shirts I got, the books I got, the card set of the 76 Canada Cup, and the 1992 Upper Deck hockey. Now, I've got some stuff to unpack for you, and this is stuff that is unpacked, that needs to be unpacked, and not like, box. Like the card sets and all that were actually just like the sets were in, but they were unpacked, quote unquote. So I'm going to spend the next 60 minutes talking about stuff and picking up some stuff. So this is, for example, I picked up this thing called the SO Baseball Challenge. It's a card set from 1988. So I'm going to unbox it and all that. Get my fingers in there. Cutter. Do something. Anyway, I know I can get my fingers. I just hate live TV and all that. Like, I didn't really come up with a script for this, so stuff unpacked since 1988. And I don't want to have to go grab my scissors. So let's see here. There we go. Put that in the garbage. All right, so the SO Baseball Challenge. So unpack these cards. And, all right, so basically, I thought this would be trivia and all that. Home team runner, home team. Okay, so just fan this out. Fan this out for you. So, for example, a single advance when the batter goes home. No runners, great defensive fly out. It's a card game and all that. So let's see the rules. Oh, that is up baseball. All right, so ages 8 to 12. Set up. All right, so here's how you play. Set up baseball diamond using the 4 base cards. Separate the 4 runner cards. Shuffle and stack the 63 game cards. Player 1 turns successive game cards face up. Advancing runner cards is described until 3 outs are accumulated. Record runs. So, yeah, it's kind of one of the early versions of like the card and dice games that Al Red Sox fan loves to do. So this one, for example, show you, for example, all base runners and batters score and return to the deck, and everything's reshuffled. So I could see this kind of not really being my cup of tea and all that. So I'm practically going to just get rid of it. Okay, so let's see here. All right, so let's unpackage this. The 94 Blue Jays complete box set. Plus 1 Team Stadium Club Finest card, 1 first day issue card. 30 super premium Blue Jay cards of the 94 Blue Jays. So, of course, the question on everyone's lips is 94 Blue Jays, as in the like, will their stats be of the 94 season that was shortened or headed into 94? There will probably be some key players. Yeah, I have to go get my scissors for this. So anyway, let's just do the cuts right. How do you want to get this out without hurting the cards? Not so easy. Yeah, it's not so easy going through almost 30-year-old things. There we go. The essence of bean cutter. These off to the side. This here. All right. So these are 1994 Team Stadium Club cards. See there? There. I need the scissors to open these up. Not a garbage. So, all right, here we go. All right, so we got ourselves Roberto Alomar, for example, Team Stadium Club by Topps, 94 Topps, Team Stadium Club. And this is, Major League record, 1993. So on the back, it shows, there's Alomar. It shows like his stats, like height, weight, what he bats, he throws, how he was in the baseball. He signed by the Padres as free agent in 1985, and then that December 5th trade, 1990, that saw Tony Fernandez and Fred McGriff go to San Diego for Joe Carter and Roberto Alomar. So this is 1993. So I think we're going to get some rookie stuff of Delgado and all of them. So you got him, you got Devon White, great leadoff guy, and all of that. Big trade. The Blue Jays made a giant trade in 1990, trading for him for Junior Felix, which was huge. And they went with Debo. Mike Timlin, drafted by the Blue Jays in the 5th round in 87, but Timlin, 93, his stats and all that. Soon to be a closer. I don't think for the Blue Jays. Dave Stewart, 93 Blue Jays. He was 12-8, picked up as a free agent in 92. The Blue Jays made a big splash getting Dave Stewart for their playoff push because the Blue Jays lost, 11 players from the 92 World Series squad by trade or free agency or retirement. And they needed to rebuild. And then you got Rob Butler, the Canadian from East York. He was a free agent signing by the Blue Jays. June 12, 1993 was his Major League debut. So Rob Butler, it was weird seeing Rob Butler and all that, but he won a World Series ring. Huck Flanner, Blue Jays drafted him in the 9th round in 1990. So Huck Flanner as a Blue Jay. Randy Knorr, the Blue Jays number 3 catcher, if you will, 10th round pick in 1986. So Randy Knorr. Paul Spalger, Canadian from Kelowna, British Columbia, picked as a free agent by the Blue Jays, making him a pretty good player. These are 1993 cards. Another Devo, so that's a double. Todd Stoudemire, 1993 card. He was picked in the 1st round of the 85 draft by the Blue Jays. So he was pretty good at all that. Everyone remembers his famous Game 4 93 World Series with the chin scrape. All that. John Olerud, picked up by the Blue Jays 3rd round pick in 1989, but he never played a minor league game. He was in the majors from day one, in a sense, with the Blue Jays. So John Olerud. Al Leiter, big trade. The Yankees traded him to the Blue Jays for Jesse Barfield in 1989, so that was a big trade there. Juan Guzman, picked up in a trade September 1987 for Mike Sharperson, if memory serves me right. So Juan Guzman in a Blue Jays outfit. He was pretty good. Scott Brow, 7th round pick by the Blue Jays in 1990. So Scott Brow. Carlos Delgado as a catcher. People forget that Carlos Delgado was a catcher. Signed as an international free agent in 1988, born in 1972. So he was 21 in the minor leagues, 25 home runs in the minor leagues. Now, this is a rarity to see a Carlos Delgado rookie card before he did them. And Tony Castillo, Blue Jays picked him up as a free agent in 1993, and he worked his butt off for the Blue Jays. All right, so we got that, and then we get the other deck. The other deck with other players. Well, headed into the 94 season that ended up being strike shortened. I don't know if people realized that the 94 season was going to be strike shortened before it actually did. I think some people did. All right, so here we go. Joe Carter, the big hero of the 93 World Series, of course, for the Blue Jays. You know, that December 5th, 1990 trade that got rid of McGriff and Fernandez for Carter and Alomar. Both sides technically won. McGriff was good for San Diego, and then they traded him to Atlanta, and he helped Atlanta push in the 93 playoff spot in that last great pennant chase with the Giants. And, you know, Fernandez came back to Toronto. Greg Cataract. All that. Went to Kansas City, but he was a Blue Jay in 93 for them. So Greg Cataract. Okay. Pat Borders, the main catcher for the Blue Jays. 6th-round pick in 1982 by the Jays. Domingo Cedeno, free agent signed in 1987. He was okay in a sense, but he wasn't really a superstar. Willie Canade, purchased from the Cleveland organization in 1993. You see the back of his card, and you'll notice that when on the back of the card it says 1 home run, 3 RBIs. I was there when Willie Canade hit a home run. It was against the Royals, July 1993 on a Sunday. I think it was the 16th. Can't remember the official date. But Willie Canade, who came in for Devon White got the day off, so Canade came in and played the whole game and hit a home run in the bottom of the ninth to win the game 4-3 for the Blue Jays. That was my first ever Blue Jay game. And I saw Willie Canade hit the only home run in his career. Darnell Coles, he was a Mariners pick, but picked up as free agent by the Blue Jays, I guess to be like a backup player. Paul Molitor, the Blue Jays with a gigantic move. After so many years with the Milwaukee organization, Molitor decided to head to Toronto, which was huge because Milwaukee and Toronto at the time were division rivals in the AL East. And it was huge that the Brewers didn't make the effort to sign him, and Molitor went to the Blue Jays. Dick Schofield, free agent in 93. The Blue Jays picked him up from the Angels organization. He was basically the shortstop for the Blue Jays, was supposed to be the shortstop for the Blue Jays, but then Schofield got hurt, and that's when Tony Fernandez had to be picked up from the Mets. Sean Green, before he was legend, he was a decent minor league player, first-round pick in 91 by the Blue Jays. So Sean Green, that's going to be a big pick. That's going to be a big card. Pat Henkin, very solid pitcher, 19 wins for the 93 Blue Jays. They drafted him 5th round in 1986. Domingo Martinez, that's the second card. Oh, no, that's Domingo Cedeno. Domingo Martinez for the minor league squad. So he didn't amount to much. Ed Sprague, you know, the Blue Jays picked him up in the draft, first round pick in 1988. So Ed Sprague in Blue Jay colors. Dwayne Ward, the closer for the Blue Jays, picked up in a trade from the Braves organization in 1986 for, I think it was for Doyle Alexander. But yeah, Dwayne Ward was picked up by the Braves. For the Braves organization, the Blue Jays. Woody Williams, you see him with, well, he was a low draft pick by the Blue Jays, but he played for the 93 Blue Jays. Danny Cox, for the Blue Jays 93, was a free agent. The Blue Jays needed some pitching help, and Danny Cox tried to help it. And the top stadium card, finest card of Roberto Alomar, who was pretty good. All right, so we got those. I got to go through those guys and all that. Probably try to sell the Delgado and the green card because I do have Delgado and green or autographed cards went before they were famous. So figure that out. All right, so let's do another unboxing. This is the Wayne Gretzky card set that upper deck through after he retired. So you got this slider box, as they call it, or basically the box, one of the boxes that I can't get myself into. There's the slider box. There's the Gretzky cards and all that. There are supposed to be 15 Gretzky cards. From 1 to, well, there's a lot of checklist cards. So, okay, so let's see here. I'm just going to give you the one per what they call the one per number thing. Go to checklist ones. Playoff points. So that's double. Yeah, lots of doubles. There we go. All right. So the record, every record that Gretzky had, all that. So first one, most goals in one season, 92 and 82. That's when he put up 92 goals and broke Phil Esposito's record for most goals in one season by a player. 77th goal was against Kitchener, former Kitchener Ranger John Edwards at the Buffalo Auditorium. Card number 1 is the most goals, 894. Nice picture of him celebrating as a New York Ranger. Ranger fans will be happy to see him. 894 goals in the NHL. This card, oh, that's the same one. This card is him. Well, it says most points over 2,800. And of course, you see Gretzky's comments and all that about how he did. Number 4 is most points in one season, 215 back in 1986, which was amazing. 200 points. You would have to average 2.5 points per game to do that. Card number 5, Powerade. I think that was his final game because I see Penguins open. Most assists, 1,963 assists. For the longest time, Gretzky had more assists than a player scoring points because Gordie Howe was second with 1,850 points. No, I think he still has a mark, doesn't he? For number 2 point total ever, I think. Anyway, this is card number 6 in the performance thing, but MasterCard Sharp. Longest consecutive points scoring streak, 58 games and 51 games, and that actually started in 1980, at the start of the 83-84 season, which was amazing. 50 straight games with a point. It's hard to get 20 nowadays. Card 7 in the set with the Rangers. Most playoff points in a career, 382 points. This one, most goals one season, including the playoffs, 100 in 1984, which is shocking that the 82 season, when he scored 92 goals, that was not his record. Because I think the others, were they in the 82 playoffs? Oh, yeah, they were in the 82 playoffs, but they got shocked by the Kings in the first round, so he couldn't score 30 goals. Card number 10 in the set, a Dodge that's against Devils. I think that's Scott Stevens number 4. Most assists, including playoffs, over 2,200. And then you have Oilers jersey. Highest points per game average in a season, 2.77 back in 1984, which was shocking because, the 84 season, that's not the most goals or assists he's had in a season. That was Reckles Abandonment. Card number 12 in the set, you see Gretzky with his hands on the edge. Surge energy drink. Most 100-point seasons, 15. I think Ovechkin's aiming for that mark. Next set was most 3 or most hat tricks in a career of 50. This is him as a Ranger getting a hat trick. So got that. And final card set, final one is most assisted ones. He's on 163 back in 1986. Like, that's amazing. 163 assists. You have to get 2 assists a game. You have to average 2 assists a game to even come close to that mark. So that will be probably like all that. So put that in the slider box. All right, the next one is this Joe DiMaggio 30 card exclusive set from Pinnacle in 1993. It's never been opened, so I'm going to open it. The Joe DiMaggio set. I wonder what type of cards are in here. Okay. See the stuff inside. Pinnacle. All that. All right. So you got a lot of cards here. Authenticator lens. Okay, well, got the card certificate of authenticity. 209,000 were produced, and this is number 166626, Joe DiMaggio. At Pinnacle. And these are just cards, Sticks and Bones. All that, a soup bone, and all that. Yeah, it's just cards. It's just talking about stuff DiMaggio did in his career. A link to the past, talking all that. His final season was Mickey Mantle's Rookie of the Year. All that. Well, sorry, that was talking about Lou Gehrig. Center of attention. It's never at ease being the center of attention and all that. So we got those cards. Got like DiMaggio Mystique. You got Classic Swing by Joe DiMaggio. Got a lot of this stuff. DiMaggio, kind of a card of his playing career and all that. He served in World War II, so good for him. So yeah, so I got that. I don't know if it's worth keeping. I don't think it's worth keeping for me. Like, it's just talking about his stuff and all that. So I hate this because I gotta put this back together. The cards back in this thing, back in the box. That's not easy to do. Yeah, I don't think it's really worth keeping for me. Like, not really for me to keep. I'll probably just get rid of it. Okay. Another thing, this is a set. This is to do Hockey Canada in 1991, doing something about the Summit Series. So, show you the set in the beginning. So all the cards from there. Such cards as in the beginning, and they're talking about the Soviet stuff and all that. So yeah, got all that. Card number 2 in the set is not more months a year. So yeah, they talk about how the Soviets, would prepare themselves, and how Ken Dryden describes like their backyard rink and all that. Card 3 is It Didn't Take Long, talking about the Soviets coming back through in 1954, winning the World Championship, as you can see on the back. So there's plenty of cards in this set. And they talk about, like, if you could check the back out. See here, that's just all the cards in the set. The 101 checklist. Like, they talk about they talk about all the players for the 1972 Canada, the Soviet series. And all that. Like Martin Perot, Petrov, like some of them stayed behind and in Moscow and did not play for Canada in Moscow. So that's actually a good set, but I think I might give it to someone else. I've got a few other things. So here we go. Player list. 1991 score baseball cards of the Toronto Blue Jays. I just want to see what's in here. I know it kind of tells me on the back and all that, but I just want to see for myself. It would tell me how to open this. It's stupid how these boxes just don't like to tell me how to open it. Okay, there we go. That's from the side. From the side. See if all the cards are there. Now it says +5 Magic Motion trivia cards. I don't want Magic Motion trivia cards. These things are hard to get through. Okay, so Magic Motion. World Series Trivia 1950. See the movement of the cards? 1950. Yeah. World Series Trivia, it says 1950, and then they talk about the Whiz Kids. Part of the 1950 World Series. The second one is 1972. You can see 1972. About Gene Tennant's coming out of freaking nowhere, a utility catcher, and being the hero in the 72 World Series. Magic Motion Redbirds Roll 1942. Talk about the 1942 World Series. Babes Called Shot 1932. And also Yankee Comeback in 1958. That was a huge World Series in 1958 because the Braves, who won the World Series from the Yankees in 1957, almost did it again, but somehow in some way it didn't happen. All right, so these are the cards, the score cards. All that. First one's the All-Star Game 1991. Yeah, when you think of score, you're thinking of like you're thinking of hockey cards. That's what I think of all the time. Okay, Grant Smolniks. Grant Smolniks, great bench player for the Blue Jays. Dwayne Ward, 1990, when he was the backup closer to Tom Hankey. Eddie Sosky, he was a decent player for the Blue Jays in a sense. Sosky was traded. I think he was traded in the deal for David Cone, right? Yeah, I think Sosky went to the Mets for David Cone, 92. Pat Tabler, great bench player and all that. He signed as a free agent before the 91 season. And, Pat Tabler, known for being on the Blue Jays broadcasts. I don't remember if he's still there, but yeah, Pat Tabler. Rob Ducey, Canadian they say he's from Toronto, but I think Rob Ducey's from Cambridge. So you see Rob Ducey there and all that. He spent some time with the Blue Jays and all that. Didn't play baseball until he was 15. So yeah, Rob Ducey. I don't remember how good of a career he had away from the Blue Jays. Mike Timlin, before he became a Blue Jay, in a sense. Roberto Alomar, his first scorecard after the Blue Jays picked him up in the big Joe Carter, alongside Joe Carter for McGriff and Fernandez. Tom Candinati, who the Blue Jays picked up to try to help their postseason roster and all that. And Dave Steve got injured, so they traded away Mark Whitten and Glenn Allen Hill, who were good outfielders, to get Candinati. He was a knuckleballer and all that. Mookie Wilson, still with the Blue Jays. I know that he was picked up from the Mets in 1989. It was huge. But Mookie Wilson still played for the Blue Jays and all that. So, yeah, Mookie Wilson as a Blue Jay. Still with the 91 squad. Manny Lee, who was the shortstop guy who was replacing Tony Fernandez and all that. Confidence in Manny Lee. Although Manny Lee in baseball, in Blue Jays lore, will be hated upon because in 1987, a ball went through his legs and actually cost the Blue Jays the 87 pennant, or the AL East. Joe Carter, the legend Joe Carter, after the Padres pick up the Padres in that trade. Joe Carter, great slugger. Dave Steep. In 1990, he was good for the Blue Jays in 1990. He was 18-6, and he looked pretty good. But then he got injured in 91 and wasn't the same pitcher. Robert Alomar, All-Star for the Blue Jays and the thing. Joe Carter, an All-Star. Oh, there's Tom Hankey, the Terminator, as you will, with all those saves and all that. One of the best closers in baseball when he was with the Blue Jays. Pat Borders, establishing himself as the Blue Jays catcher in the 91 season. John Olerud, never going to the minor leagues and all that. So he was a good pitcher for Wazoo, Washington State, but he came on board as a Blue Jay. The hitting. Jimmy Key All-Star card. Candy Maldonado with the Blue Jays. So you looked pretty good. Picked him up from Milwaukee. Oh, so Cleveland, then he went as a free agent to Milwaukee before the Blue Jays picked him up. I thought Candy was picked up in 92 before that season. Devon White, great center fielder. The big move to get rid of Junior Felix. David Wells. Yeah, the Blue Jays had David Wells before the 1999 trade for Clemens. And he was a reliever, but now they put him in the starting rotation, and he looked pretty good and all that. Yeah, David Wells was a starter for the Blue Jays for many years. Before I have Jim Acker, great reliever for the Blue Jays. He spent time with the Braves and then went back to Toronto. Todd Stoudemire, when he was decent and all that. Ken Daly, who was a Cardinal, then the Blue Jays signed him as a free agent and all of that. So I don't know how many games Ken Daly pitched for the Blue Jays, but he wasn't really effective. Greg Myers, who was the backup catcher for the Blue Jays, being the most improved player after Toronto traded away Ernie Witt. Ed Sprague, well, he was in the minor leagues and all that, and it would come third base to be part of the trenches. Kelly Groover should be coming up soon. There's the Jimmy Key card and all that. He was a pretty good pitcher. For a while, he was the only lefty in Blue Jays history to have from 1980 to 1985, no Blue Jay starter ever had a left-handed starter ever won a game. Steve Carsey, prospect. Carsey would actually be a closer for many teams other than the Blue Jays. Carsey was traded in the deal in 93 to get Ricky Henderson. Rob McDonald. Don't know much about Rob McDonald, where he landed. Dave Weathers, good pitcher for other teams, but he was a Blue Jay first. Rene Gonzalez, known for wearing number 88. He was in the Baltimore system, then a reserve for the Blue Jays. So I don't know how he ended up leaving. Derek Bell playing for Syracuse, like, you know, he was a flashy guy who was good in the trenches of that's the Blue Jays bench. But unfortunately, Derek Bell kind of nonchalantted himself in spring training in '93 and got traded to San Diego for Darren Jackson, who then was flipped to the Mets for Tony Fernandez. Jerry Shrunk. Who the heck is it? Jerry Shrunk? That's a new guy, Jerry Shrunk. Cito Gaston manager card. You don't see those every day. Al Leiter as a Blue Jay. You know, they traded Jesse Barfield to the Yankees to get Al Leiter, and he was very decent and all that. Ray Gianni, third baseman. I don't know whatever happened to him. He didn't really do that well. Frank Wills for the Blue Jays, a decent reliever and all that. Kelly Gruber, the third baseman for the Blue Jays, who was just amazing and all that. And finally, Juan Guzman, before he really was a star for the Blue Jays. So, gotta wrap my hand around this. Okay, a few more things left. This is the next one, the Montreal Expos 25th anniversary team. So, yeah, 32 of the greatest Expos 25th anniversary. Show you these guys. Moises Alou, very good left fielder for the Expos and all that. He was second in Rookie of the Year in '92. You know, he was in the Pittsburgh system, I think, before being traded to Montreal in the Zane Smith deal. And Alou did fantastic for the Expos and all of that. Now, this is before '94 when he really took off. Andre the Hawk Dawson, great guy. The Hawk, before Montreal just basically colluded him out, and then he signed that like $500,000 contract with the Cubs. So yeah, Andre the Hawk Dawson, fantastic, cool. Delino DeShields, great second baseman for the Expos. Of course, this card set was in '93 before DeShields left the Expos in that great trade to get Pedro Martinez. For the one of the second baseman, the Dodgers didn't get Jody Reed, so they wanted second baseman, and they fleeced the Expos of Delino DeShields, and everyone was saying DeShields, you know, got fleeced or something. The Expos got fleeced of the Shields, but the joke was on them after Pedro started doing so well. Andre the Hawk Galarraga, very decent for the Expos and all that. So from 85 to 91. So, yeah, he was the big cat. And he was traded to St. Louis for Ken Hill, I believe. So, yeah, Galarraga was pretty decent. Marcus Grissom, great center fielder. This is before he really took off in '93 and '94 for the Expos. Great center fielder. And then they decided to trade him to Atlanta for Roberto Kelly. Of course, because the Expos were running out of money. Next card is Tim Raines, the Rock as they call him. Great speedster for the Expos. Main guy in the 80s. He was just fantastic before headed to Chicago for the White Sox. But yeah, he was heart and soul. Larry Walker as an Expo. This is till 1992 before Walker became astronomical. Like he just took off like a rocket in '93 and '94. Then you got Tim Wallach, great third baseman for the Expos. He was traded to the Dodgers in December '92. I don't know who for, but Tim Wallach was basically the third baseman for the Expos for the longest time, and who we can count on from third baseman. Ken Hill, great pitcher for the Expos. He only has played 1 year for the Expos, the Galarraga deal, 16-9 in 1992. They decided to put him in the 25th anniversary set, which was quite nice, but that was before '94 when he was astronomical and could have been the NL Cy Young champ. Dennis Martinez for the Expos. El Presidente, El Perfecto, being picked up from Baltimore. He was struggling at first, but Dennis Martinez became one of the best pitchers around. Then you got Jeff Reardon in an Expos outfit. Reardon, great closer for Boston, Minnesota, and Atlanta, but he spent the first 6 years of his career with the Expos, and he was a very good reliever. Now, unfortunately, Reardon got hurt in the 81 playoffs, and he would have pitched game 5. He would have pitched on Monday and been the guy coming out of the bullpen, not one Steve Rogers. Okay, you got Gary Carter, the kid, and those Expos studs. He came back in 92. So he came back for a little bit in 92 to be the catcher for the Expos. But yeah, Gary Carter. Surprised he went back to Montreal to finish his career, but yeah, legend, the kid. And then you got Dave Cash for the Expos, playing 3 years for the Expos. They broke the bank to get Dave Cash, I think, from the Pittsburgh organization. And he was a decent leadoff guy, but he wasn't really that great at second baseman, as far as I know. Warren Cromartie, the Hawk. He was a pretty good player for the Expos. So, yeah, he spent some time with the Expos and then went to Japan for 6 years before going back to Major League Baseball. But Cromartie could have been so much better if he stayed in the majors and not in Japan. Mac Jones, Mac the Knife, first left fielder in Expos history. Played 3 years with the Expos, so Mac Jones was the first fan favorite in Expos history. This is just their set. Al Oliver Scoop, as they call it. Becoming the first Expo to win the batting title. He spent only 2 years with the Expos. Had a lot of hits and doubles and all that. It's shocking that Al Oliver only lasted 2 years in Expos colors. Al Oliver actually played for the 85 Blue Jays, if you can believe that. Larry Parrish, another good third baseman, who played in the 70s, who was basically in the 70s. So he was the third baseman of the 70s for the Expos, and of course, that 81 season. Ronnie Scott, a good second baseman for the Expos when he was decent. He could steal bases, but he was not much at second base or a leadoff guy. So they say. We got Ken Singleton, who was very good with the Expos. He spent 3 years in Expo colors. He was one of the best hitters around. And then the Expos decided to trade him to Baltimore for Mike Torres. Needing some pitching help. And Torres was just awful with the Expos, and Singleton was great for the O's. Once he stopped the Grand Orange, he knew how to do it. 69 to 71, and then they traded him away to the Mets because they didn't think he would be that much. And then he went to the Expos in 1979 for a few games and actually did quite well for himself. You don't know what he got till it's gone. Ellis Valentine, Mike Bloody Valentine, as I call it, 75 to 81 with the Expos. He was a very good young outfielder. Unfortunately, he had a ball that hurt him in the side of the cheek and all that. He had to wear a protector, and his baseball abilities went flying. Like, he had a drug habit. Unfortunately, that ruined him too. But yeah, what might have been. Woody Fryman, great reliever for the Expos from 75, 76, and then he went to 78 to 83. So Woody Fryman was a very good reliever for the Expos. And all that as a guy in his 40s. Charlie Lee, very good pitcher for the Expos for 5 years. And of course, he threw that no-hitter against the Giants in 1981, which was shocking. It was the first Expos no-hitter at a no-hitter at home. All that. Bill Spaceman Lee. I'm surprised they put him in the set from 79 to 82. He was good and all that. But he was eccentric and all that. Mike Marshall, great reliever for the Expos, 70 to 73. He was great. He led the NL in saves with 31. He could throw 5 types of screwball, allegedly. And then the Expos decided to trade him to Los Angeles, and then he won the 74 Cy Young. So that just sucked. Claude Ramon, the first French-Canadian player for the Expos. He played 3 years. He wasn't that great. All that. And, you know, he was the closer for the Expos, but Claude Ramon was, you know, not that great as a win-loss record for the Expos, but it didn't matter. Next is Steve Renko as a pitcher. 36 and 34 as an Expo from 69 to 76. So he was there for the Expos in the early years before they went to Stade Olympique. Then you got Steve Rogers, great pitcher for the Expos. 158 wins with the Expos. They say he's one of the best pitchers of all time in the Expos organization. I agree more. He beat Steve Carlton twice in the 1981 NLDS and ruined the Phillies' chances to go back-to-back for the World Series. Bill Stillman, guy who threw 2 no-hitters in Expos history, although he was 51 and 72 as a Expo. That was kind of shocking how, you know, he threw 2 no-hitters as an Expo, and yet he didn't do so well. Next up, Gene Mauchus, manager, the first manager in Expos history. He almost had 500 wins and all of that as Expo manager from 69 to 75. Felipe Lewis manager. This was 92, after the 92 season. But, of course, people forget. This card set was released before 94 when, you know, he was astronomical. And Buck Rogers, 520 wins, number 1 in Expos history. From 1985 to 1991, he was their manager. So that's that card set. I think I'll keep that set and all of that so that, you know, we can add more gravitas to it. Okay, that's set. I'll keep the, yeah, so I'll keep that one for sure. The other sets I'll just get rid of somehow. All right, so second to last thing I'm going to unbox is this, a package of 1987 Topps baseball cards with the gum inside. So I don't know how I managed to get this, but yeah, there we go. 2 bits of chewing gum from 1987. I'm just going to try. Blech. Yeah. Yeah. 35-year-old gum, it just sucks. Gotta wash that down. Okay, so these are cards from 1987 Topps. Okay, so first one, Urbano Lugo. Never heard of this guy. For the 86 Angels, he didn't really play that much. So Urbano Lugo, Topps 87. So Lugo. I have some of these cards. I had a Dave Henderson 1986 Topps. Cal Ripken 1986. 162 games with the team, 25 home runs, 81 RBIs. So Cal Ripken, 1986. Next up is Will Clark. I think I had this card one time. Will Clark, well, he was a prospect for the Giants. You would imagine Will Clark's meteoric rise. Floyd Bannister for the White Sox. He was a good Seattle guy, and then he went to the White Sox. So Floyd Bannister. Steve Ontiveros for the A's as a prospect. Ontiveros, who actually was the 94 AL ERA leader, which was strange. Scott Garrett for the Giants. So Scott Garrett, 13 wins for the 86 Giants. Roy Lee Jackson for Blue Jay for the 86 Twins. So yeah, he was with the Blue Jays at one point. Bill Madlock in Dodger colors. Legend with the Pirates, among other teams. Affectionately known as Mad Dog. Playing for the 86 Dodgers for many games and all that. So yeah, Bill Madlock, great player for the Pirates. I have his card with the Dodgers. Rick Rhoden has a Pirate. Rhoden, when he was the Pirates' main staff leader. All that. The best pitcher for the Pirates in 86, I guess. Brian Olaux for Cleveland. Oaks. So, Oakler. Rick Burleson as an Angel. He was a Red Sox star, then went to the Angels. I think Fred Lynn was also traded to the Angels alongside Rick Burleson. Injury prone since being an Angel and all that. Rick Burleson. Tony Pena, catcher for the Pirates. When he was basically the Pirates superstar. Yeah, Pirates superstar, Tony Pena, before he became a Red Sox and Cleveland catcher. J.B. Quirk with the Royals. Much traveled with the Royals organization. Next card, Joe Hesketh. Okay, I got an Expos. Joe Hesketh. He was in the Expos organization for many years. Hesketh. Dave Collins as a Tiger. Dave Collins was once a Blue Jay for 2 years before being traded to Oakland in the deal to get Bill Caldwell, I think it was, right? Or was it Gary LaFell? No, it was Bill Caldwell. And they traded Alfredo Griffin too, alongside Dave Collins. The Blue Jays did. So there's him. George Brett, 1986. George Brett. The legend that is George Brett. And, of course, in the last card, Bill Wegman of the Brew Crew. So that's what he did. Yeah, included with the 36-year-old piece of gum, which I tried chewing, but kind of gave up on it. All that. Yeah, those are baseball cards I got to deal with. And finally, one more thing to unbox for this stream. This. Told you about these sets. You can see the players. So you see here. I'm going to stand up for this. So you see here, you got an all-star card of Prince Fielder with his 51 home runs for the 1990 season. Kevin Appier before he was good. Joe Carter in a Blue Jays outfit, of course. That was when this was the first Blue Jay card of him in a Blue Jay uniform after the big trade from San Diego. A prospect card of Gary Scott. Rob Dibble of the Reds, when he was a good closer. Ricky Henderson, a cute picture of him. And then this stuff, you see Roger Clemens in a Red Sox jersey. You see Ruben Sierra of Texas, a prospect card for Mark Lewis of the Tribe. Jeff Bagwell in an Astros jersey. That was, the first big card of Jeff Bagwell as an Astro because, he was in the Red Sox organization and then they traded him to Houston for the want of one Larry Anderson. You got a Pedro Guerrero with the Cardinals shown. You have Randy Milligan of the Orioles. And then you got these 6 guys. You got a card of Benito Santiago with the with the Padres. The Cubs with their all-star lineup. Tim Raines in a White Sox jersey, first card in the White Sox jersey after Montreal got rid of him. Greg Jeffries with the Mets. Bip Roberts with the Padres, and Jack Clark with the Red Sox. So I'm going to see if this is the whole cards, like from one whatever, or they're packs within. So let's see here. So I'm unboxing this. I think it's all the cards. Well, let's see here. 19. Oh, by the way, this is actually sentimental to me why I picked this one. Why did I pick this one? Well, a stupid story to tell you about from my childhood. My brother Edward would collect baseball cards and wrestling cards. Unfortunately for me, being so young and didn't recognize how valuable those cards are, I lost them. So this was basically the set of baseball cards that Edward had, Upper Deck 1990. So this is kind of a sentimental thing. Nope. There's no packs. There's like just players and all that. And it gives me the 3D team holograms. Team logo holograms. I'm not really much for the holograms. So, yeah, see? As you can see here, one or whatever, there are a lot of, I guess, 701, 702, 701 being Mike Heath in a Braves uniform after being traded away by the Tigers. We've got some checklists, Star Rookies checklists and all that. I got to go through a lot of these guys. I got to go through all this and practically just see what I got. So here's an example. Middle of the pack, Mark Knudsen. Got a random card of Mark Knudsen. Another random of Donnie Hill of the Angels. Infielder for the Angels, Donnie Hill. Yeah, it's just random and all that. And Save Master, Bobby Figpin, being a Save Master. So, yeah, go through a lot of stuff and all that. So, yeah, so it's a complete set, 1991. So I got to go through all of them and see which cards are worth keeping and which cards are worth, like, trying to sell and all that because they're rookie cards and all that. So, yeah, so that's basically the crux of it. And it's been about 60 minutes, like I said. I was going to do 60 minutes. So anyway, so that's the unboxing part of it. I know I would love to have set for you the card set of the 1976 Canada Cup and go through the 91 complete set of Upper Deck cards. So I'll probably do that in future streams, like a super stream. But right now, I just want to get going with the Leafs and all that. I wore the Blue Jays shirt on purpose because a lot of the stuff was baseball related, not hockey related. So, yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this 1 hour stream. And, I got some stuff I probably want to get rid of and, go through the garbage and just make sure I get a nice garbage can and all that. So hopefully you enjoyed this stream. Obviously, this will be left up because you know what? You can still watch it, like all that. So hopefully one day I will go through every one of the 91 Upper Deck baseball cards, maybe as a stream, and maybe the 1976 Canada Cup as a super stream, just to be cute. So anyway, I'll still be doing my PC baseball. My PS5 stuff will be coming along. Once I get that recorder for Christmas, then my PS5 stuff will come out, and then college football will be back through my college football yearly tournament and all that. So I know what I'm doing. It's just how I'm doing it is just another thing. And the resources. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu for now.